Hi guys, this is Buster, and welcome back to another Top 10 Songs video. So in the last video, we did Top 10 Songs for the Rolling Stones in honor of Charlie Watts, who passed away earlier this week. And long awaited, this is another one I've been wanting to do, and I think hopefully from here on I'll ask you guys what Top 10 songs from bands would you like me to do, if it's bands I've done on the channel, or you can use my top 100 favorite albums of all time where I haven't talked about bands, and then you would like me to talk about them, and then I can do that. You can use that video as a reference. And this is a band that I've always really liked, but I've grown to love them even more as time has gone on. And in recent months, well, this happened right around, a month ago, right around this time, we lost the bassist to ZZ Top, Dusty Hill, in his early 70s. I guess he had a hip replacement, I believe, and I guess he was dealing with something that was hurting him, I guess, and I guess he was ill for the last couple days of his life, sadly. So today we're going to be doing top 10 songs for ZZ Top in honor of Dusty Hill, who passed away last month. This list was really, really difficult. I'm someone who's been a fan of ZZ Top for a couple of years. I like both the 70s era and the 80s electronic era when they hit it big with Eliminator, their diamond-selling Dynamite release. And I love both the 70s and the 80s, but I will just say that my list is mainly based around the songs from the 70s. I won't give too much away, but there's something that there were some songs that had to be in my top 10, and most of them are from the 70s. And this list isn't, this is the best ZZ Top songs. These are my personal favorites. And this list can change pretty much any day. This is just for now what my top 10 looks like, and I have a list of honorable mentions. And yeah, let's get into this. So, let me know what your favorite ZZ Top songs are in the comments below. So coming in at number 10 from the Tres Hombres album, which is my favorite ZZ Top album. From start to finish, that album is just perfect. It's just a perfect album from start to finish. And half of my list has songs on that album. You'll see that I really love that album a lot. And my number 10 is from Tres Hombres. It's a deep cut off the album. It's a song that I think no one talks about, and it's just always been one of my favorites. My number 10 is Precious and Grace from Tres Hombres. I just love the heavy guitar riff from Billy Gibbons, and Billy Gibbons is one of the greatest guitar players of all time from any band, because his blues playing is just so addicting. I just love it, and his vocals are great too. Now, I know a lot of people talk about Billy's vocals. I also like the songs that Dusty sang, but we all know Billy. Billy, he's basically the frontman of ZZ Top, and he sang a good majority of the tunes, and the songs he sings on them are fantastic. And Precious and Grace is great. I love that heavy guitar riff. I love the guitar solo from Billy. It's great. And you can't put Billy to waste, because he has to have a guitar solo on pretty much every song. And all of them are fantastic. If not all, then most of them. And Precious and Grace is just a really great deep cut that's always been a favorite of mine. So coming in at number 10 for me is Precious and Grace from Tres Hombres. Great drumming from Frank Beard, by the way. Who's an underrated drummer, I find. Coming in at number 9 from the Fandango album. Fandango is half live and half studio. It's a great album nonetheless. My number 9 is from the studio side, a song that I've always loved and I knew it had to be in my list. Coming in at number 9 is Heard It on the X from Fandango. I love the guitar riff from Billy. I love Billy's vocals, and I really love Dusty Hill's bass. And Frank Beard's drumming is really great. I think everyone talks about how great Billy Gibbons is as a guitar player and a singer. I think that the rhythm section of ZZ Top is so criminally underrated. You have Dusty Hill and Frank Beard, and I find them to be completely underrated. I think that they're both amazing. Well, Dusty, up until he passed away, the great rhythm section. And Heard It on the X is just a great song. I love the guitar throughout the song. One of my favorite performances from Billy Gibbons, and one of my favorite vocal performances from Billy as well. Just a great song from start to finish, from a really great album, in my opinion. And talking about the Fandango album, in my opinion, and it's, kind of a similar situation with Van Halen. A lot of their early albums, a lot of ZZ Top's early albums are really short, just like with Van Halen. And Van Halen were big fans of ZZ Top, but who isn't, right? But yeah, a lot of the early ZZ, like I'd say, the from their first album probably up to El Loco, all the albums are really short, and especially Fandango. And for me, I wish Fandango was a double album. I wish if you have one side of live, make it a full disc, and you have one side of studio, make it a full disc. I think the studio stuff is great, and the live stuff is really great as well. And "Heard It on the X" is one of the greatest songs from that album. So coming in at number 9 for me is "Heard It on the X" from Fandango. Coming in at number 8. Okay, so this is actually the only song from the 80s that's going to make my top 10. The only song from Eliminator making my top 10. I really love Eliminator, despite how, a good majority of the album is, due to frequent, well, more than frequent radio airplay. Most of the songs are kind of played out, but I still do love them. And this is the only song from Eliminator making my top 10. And I will say, this is one of the I believe there were 5 hits off that album. This is one of the 5 hits, and I think this is the most minor hit of them. It's kind of a strange song, but I've always really loved it. It's always been my favorite song off the album. Coming in at number 8 for me is "TV Dinners" from Eliminator. I always really love that song, and I love the hits off that album as well, despite them being overplayed. Some of the deep cuts off of Eliminator are great. If you're tired of the hits from Eliminator, "Give Me All Your Lovin'" and "Sharp Dressed Man" and "Legs." If you're tired of those songs being overplayed, listen to some of the deep cuts off of Eliminator, because they're really great. And "TV Dinners" is one of the hits from the album, but I still love it a lot. And I think, like I mentioned, out of the 5 hits off that album, this is probably the one that's probably gets the most minor airplay. But I really love "TV Dinners." I love Billy's vocals. I love the guitar on the song as well, and I love Frank's drumming as well. His drumming on that album is really great, and Dusty's bass is really great. So the power trio is fantastic on this album and this song. So coming in at number 8 for me is "TV Dinners" off of Eliminator. Coming in at number 7 from the DeGuayo album, which is a fantastic album. I love that album a lot, and I think Tres Hombres is my favorite. I think DeGuayo would probably be my second favorite, and maybe followed by Eliminator, because I do like some of the 80s stuff. And this is a song that is fantastic. It needed to make my top 10. Coming in at number 7 is "I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide." How can you not love that song? That's just a classic song. And I really wanted to put more DeGuayo on here. Well, there's another song from DeGuayo making my top 10. You might know what it is. A fairly popular song, but we'll get there later. "I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide" is just fantastic. I think it's a great song. I love the vocals on the track. I love Billy's guitar riff. I love the bass from Dusty, really underrated, and the drumming from Frank Beard is great. It's also a huge fan favorite for most ZZ Top fans. It's really great stuff, and it had to make my top 10. If I didn't have it in my top 10, I would have to check that mistake, because it's a fantastic song. So coming in at number 7 for me is "I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide" from DeGuayo. Okay, coming in at number 6, my number 6 and my number 5, they both had to be on the list. They're both, one goes into the other. They're from my favorite album, Tres Hombres, and you know what those two are. Now, I've pretty much given it away, but I had to have these two in my top 10 because both of them are fantastic. Coming in at number 6, and once I say my number 6, you'll know what my number 5 is. Coming in at number 6 is "Jesus Just Left Chicago." First of all, I love how, from the previous track, which we'll talk about in a minute, it's a much slower tempo. I love the guitar from Billy. I love Frank's his slow paced drums. The bass from Dusty is really great. It's really addicting. I love the vocals from Billy, and his guitar solo on that song is fantastic. The guitar solos on this entire album are just fantastic. Tres Hombres is not only my favorite album from ZZ Top, but Tres Hombres is one of my favorite albums of all time. And listening to it even more, I still love it. I can listen to that album any day, never get tired. But yeah, "Jesus Just Left Chicago" is such a classic, and it comes in at number 6 for me. And coming in at number 5, you know what number 5 is. Coming in number 5, Waiting for the Bus, that opens Tres Hombres. One of the greatest album openers of all time. I love how that goes into Jesus Just Left Chicago. I love the guitar riff from Billy. I love the bass from Dusty. I love Frank's drumming. And the guitar solo from Billy is really great. And I love when I just would see, I never got to see ZZ Top live, unfortunately, but you can still see them live. Although, they have, after Dusty passed away, they had their guitar tech, Elwood Francis, fill in for Dusty, and I guess he's going to be a member of the band, although it's going to be different. I respect their decisions, but I know it's going to be really different because, Dusty is unfortunately no longer with us. But it's going to be weird picturing ZZ Top without Dusty. That's just my opinion. Nothing against their guitar tech. I don't think I really saw any videos from them. I'll have to check it out because I'm pretty sure he's a good bass player. But Waiting for the Bus is just great, and I never got to see them live, unfortunately, but I always saw the clips of Billy and Dusty with their guitars, and then they would just move side to side. It was so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. So coming in at number 5 is Waiting for the Bus from Tres Hombres. Had to make my top 10, and you can tell I love that album a lot by this list. Coming in at number 4, one of the more popular songs, I never get tired of it, from Fandango. It closes the album. Coming in at number 4 is Tush. I never get tired of it, and that is a great guitar riff from Billy, sung by Dusty. It's just a great song, and really that is Dusty's song. And now that I think of it, who's gonna sing Tush? Now that Dusty's is the guitar tech gonna, or I should say, is Elwood Francis gonna sing Tush? I don't know if he sings. Maybe Billy will take over. Although Billy has more of the subdued vocals and more of the low pitched vocals. Although there are times where he would raise his voice more, and it would be very cool to hear that. And Dusty had more of the higher range, and he had more of the energetic vocals, I guess. And Tush is just a great song. I love that fantastic guitar riff from Billy. I love Dusty's bass throughout the entire time. They would always end their concerts with LaGrange and Tush. And I saw a clip. Ironically, I saw a clip a couple days before Dusty died. I saw a clip of them playing LaGrange and Tush. At first, they were getting into LaGrange, and I believe it was an encore. And then Dusty takes over the mic. He says, "Hey, Billy, do that thing." And then he says, "What thing?" And he says, "You know that thing." And then so on and so forth. And then Billy says, "Oh, this thing," at the opening riff to LaGrange. And after LaGrange, they would get into Tush. And I gotta say that Dusty's vocals on Tush are fantastic. And I love the slide guitar solo from Billy on this song. It's fantastic. One of his greatest guitar solos. And I love Frank's drumming on the song. Fun song to play on drum. There's a lot of fun ZZ Top songs to play on drum. Some of them are actually pretty tricky, because Frank Beard's a pretty underrated drummer, and I've always loved his playing. So coming in at number 4 for me is Tush from Fandango. Coming in at number 3, my top 3 are pretty close. Well, especially my top 2, but we'll get there soon. My number 3 from DeGuello. I had to have this song on here, otherwise there would be no top 10 without this song. Coming in at number 3 for me is Cheap Sunglasses from DeGuello. How can you? Yeah, it's one of their more popular songs, but how can you not love that song? It's such a great song, and I never get tired of it at all. And maybe it does get, some radio play, not unlike some of the '80s stuff and another song that we're gonna talk in a little bit. But Cheap Sunglasses is just really, really great. I love the guitar from Billy. I love his vocals. The slow and steady bass from Dusty is great, and I love Frank Beard's drumming, his more slow drumming on this song. Cheap Sunglasses is just really great, and that whole album is really perfect. I really love that album a lot. But it could rank higher, but my top 2 are really close, and I don't know if they're gonna be overtaken by anything, but hey, who knows? It might change in the future. But coming in number 3 for me is Cheap Sunglasses from DeGuello. Alright, so what I alluded to just a couple of seconds ago, my top 2 are really close. They're both from my favorite album, Tres Hombres. It's just a great album. But I love both of these songs that really, they could flip-flop any day. One of them is a really popular song. It's probably their most popular song, although a couple '80s hits is really popular. And the other one, it gets some radio play, but it never it never really was one of their biggest hits, although it is a fan favorite for most people. And the top two can change for me. So number two is Lagrange, and I mean you can't go wrong with Lagrange. Lagrange is just great. I mean from that iconic opening quiet guitar riff. I love Billy's, kind of gruff vocals. I love, and I love how his vocals sound. And then after that, you get a fantastic drum fill from Frank, and then a great bass line from Dusty, and then not a lot of lyrics on the song, but the lyrics are pretty cool. And then you get into a fantastic Billy Gibbons guitar solo, or as what some people like to call him, Reverend Willie G. That's a great nickname. And yeah, and both the guitar solos are great, and I tried playing this song on drums before. This is a very difficult song to play on drums because you have to. I'm a right-handed drummer. Some people might not know the difference, but when you play drums, this is how I play drums. I lead with my right hand. The shuffle on that song is difficult because you have to hit notes on the snare drum with your left hand, along with hitting the ride cymbal and then the bass drum. It's really that. It may sound easy, but it's actually pretty difficult. Maybe in the next coming years I may master it, but who knows? But The Grange is just an iconic song, and I love when they were on Howard Stern a couple of years ago. I don't know if they were promoting the La Futura album, which is a really strong album. Um, they performed Lagrange, an extended version of Lagrange, and honestly, I think I may like that version a little bit more than the studio because honestly, I wish that version was on the album. I wish Lagrange was even long. That was on the album, that might even be number one despite it being overplayed. I absolutely love that version. It's incredible, and Howard Stern and Robin Quivers were just stunned by the performance. And just Lagrange is just an iconic song from start to finish. You all know it. You've all heard it a million times, but it's still a classic song nonetheless. So coming in number two for me is Lagrange off of Tres Hombres. And coming in number one, my favorite ZZ Top song of all time. And this and Lagrange can flip flop. And I mentioned that it does get some frequent radio play, but it's not. Well, it's not one of their hits, but it is a fan favorite. And this has always been a favorite song of mine, and it's such a classic song. And I don't. You probably know what I'm talking about. Coming in number one for me, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers. What a fantastic song that is. And you know what? I wish Billy and Dusty would trade vocals more often. I loved hearing Billy and Dusty trade vocals. It was fantastic. I love when they would harmonize. And one of my favorite guitar solos from Billy Gibbons, just fantastic stuff. Dusty's bass playing is great, and I love Frank Beard's drumming as well. Great, I think Frank Beard's drumming on that album may be the strong. Well, I don't know. There are a lot of great drumming performances from Frank Beard. I think as I mentioned, I think he's a criminally underrated drummer. But yeah, coming in number one, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, just a classic song. I just love everything about it, and yeah, that's my favorite ZZ Top song of all time. And as you know, I've actually spoken faster than usual because I want these videos to be shorter. I don't want them to go to an hour. Although I love this band a lot, and I wish I would talk about them more. I could if I want to, but I don't want to stretch the time limits. But anyway, I will show you my list if I can get the angle right. Here we go. Here's my list. And I felt bad not including a lot of stuff from Eliminator or the 80s in general, although I will say I do like that. I love that album a lot. I will get into my honorable mentions, though, because really, and through their discography, I don't think there's a bad ZZ Top record. Well, some in the late 90s and early 2000s, they're okay. They're not great, but I do like some tracks, and we'll get to them in honorable mentions. So, from ZZ Top's first album, called ZZ Top's First Album, a really great album, great debut, underrated debut. Somebody Else Been Shaking Your Tree, that's probably the one popular song off that album. It's a great song. Brown Sugar is great. No, not the Rolling Stones song, not to be confused with that. It's a different song. But Brown Sugar is great. Probably my favorite song off that album. I love Billy's guitar on that song. Going Down to Mexico is really great. Neighbor Neighbor is another favorite of mine. Certified Blues, another one I really wanted in my top 10. Just Got Back from Babies and Backdoor Love Affair. The whole album, the first album, is great. From Rio Grande Mud, or Grande Mud, Grandy Mud, however you pronounce it. I've always said Rio Grande Mud. Francine is a really good song. That was probably their first radio song when you think about it, before Lagrange. Francine, Just Got Paid is fantastic. I love Cocoa Blue. I really wanted that in my top 10. Chevrolet is great. I love Apologies to Pearly. That's great. I love the guitar riff from Billy at the beginning of that song. And probably my favorite song off that album is Whiskey and Mama, a great song. One thing I really love about the first two albums, they're really bluesy and at times pretty heavy. And they're both really great albums. I felt bad not including anything from both of those two albums, although I do love both of them a lot. From Trace Hombres, you can I put everything else on that album because come on, that's just a perfect album. I really wanted Master of Sparks in my top 10. That is a great song. I love the guitar riff from Billy and great solo as well. Great drumming from Frank and great bass from Dusty. A pretty, very tight song. I love it. Hot Blue and Righteous is really great. That's a really great ballad. Move Me On Down the Line is really great. I really like Chic a lot. That's an underrated song. And Have You Heard is a really great song. That's another kind of slow-paced ballad of them, of theirs. From Fandango. So I include the live stuff. I really like Thunderbird. That's really good. I like their take on Jailhouse Rock. I know all of them. I think all of them were pretty big Elvis fans. I think Dusty really admired him the most. And I think my favorite out of the live stuff is the Backdoor Medley. I think that's really great. It pained me to leave out Nasty Dogs and Funky Kings. I really, really wanted that in my top 10. And I didn't want to do any ties because, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the Rolling Stones video, I snuck in a tie because I couldn't help it. But for this, I didn't want to do a tie because I didn't want to, repeat ties. But like I mentioned, there are times where you have to make an exceptions. But Nasty Dogs and Funky Kings is easily in the top 15 somewhere. Blue Jeans Blues is a really great song. Balinese is really great, and Mexican Blackbird is also strong. I like the Fandango album a lot. It's really great. From Tejas, I felt bad not including anything from Tejas. Tejas is a really underrated album. I do like it a lot. I love the album cover to it also. It's Only Love is a really great song. My favorite song off that album, I felt bad leaving off, was Arrested for Driving While Blind. What a great song as I get a notification. I never learned my lesson. I keep forgetting to turn off notifications. I'm going to have to do that soon. I never learned. Anyway, I digress. Arrested for Driving While Blind is just a fantastic song. I love that. El Diablo is great. Will these oh my god, hold on. Right as I'm recording, I'm getting a lot of notifications. There we go. Hopefully that turned them off. Getting a lot of YouTube notifications. Anyway, where was I? El Diablo from Tejas is great. Snappy Khaki is a really good song. Enjoy and Get It On. $10 Man is great. Great vocals from Dusty. Pan Am Highway Blues. That's a really great one, underrated. Avalon Hideaway is really strong. She's a Heartbreaker. And you know what? Asleep in the Desert is really beautiful. I wish Billy did more of that on every other album, because I wish he did more of that. That stuff's great. From Deguello is just filled with masterpieces, in my opinion. I Thank You is a legendary song from him. Obviously, that's a cover. She Loves My Automobile is great. A Fool for Your Stockings is really great. Manic Mechanic is really good. Love it or hate it, he uses that weird voice thing. I love it. I think it's great. Dust My Broom is really great. Low Down in the Street. Hi-Fi Mama, again, great vocals from Dusty. And Esther Be the One, a perfect album from start to finish. From El Loco, I felt bad not including stuff from El Loco as well, but you can't fit everything. Tube Snake Boogie, I felt bad not including that in my top 10. That's a legendary song for them. 10-Foot Pole is really great. Leela is a really great song. Pearl Necklace is awesome. I love that a lot. Groovy Little Hippie Pad, that's a cool song. Heaven, Hell, or Houston is really great. I do like that. And Party on the Patio, a great way to close the album. And great vocals from Dusty. Okay, so from Eliminator, like I mentioned, I felt bad not including anything from Eliminator, but I do love that album a lot. I still really like Give Me All Your Lovin', despite it being overplayed. I still really like that song a lot. Got Me Under Pressure. Okay, Got Me Under Pressure. That was in my top 10 and got booted out. And Got Me Under Pressure may be my number 11. I love Got Me Under Pressure so much. And again, maybe overplayed, but I still love it a lot. Same thing with Sharp Dressed Man. I still really like. I mean, I don't listen to the radio, so that's why I'm not overexposed to these songs. But I still really like listening to Sharp Dressed Man. It's a famous song for the band. Probably from this album, maybe their most popular song, along with Lagrange and Give Me All Your Lovin' and Tush and Cheap Sunglasses, as well as another song off this album. But I love the deep cuts on here as well. I Need You Tonight is really good. I Got the Six is great. Again, great vocals from Dusty. I really love that. Legs. I'm not tired of Legs. I think out of the Eliminator hits, I think that one might be the one I've heard the most, but still great. Yeah, it's maybe cheesy. They had that MTV video. Well, they had a lot of MTV videos for this album, but yeah, Legs is. I still really like listening to Legs. Yeah, it's overplayed, but I still like it. Thug is a really good song. Dirty Dog I like. If I Could Only Flag Her Down, and Bad Girl is a great way to close the album. And if you're tired, like I mentioned before, if you're tired of the Eliminator hits, you should listen to the deep cuts. They're really great. From Afterburner, for me, Eliminator, Afterburner, and Recycler are a trio. They pretty much go hand in hand. And Afterburner is a really good album. And what I think they wanted to do was a sequel to Eliminator, so part two of Eliminator. I think it's a really strong album. I do like it, but I think Eliminator is stronger. But there's some good stuff on Afterburner, and this was another big song. I think this is their second bestseller. Sleeping Bag is a really great song. I actually really like Rough Boy. That's maybe overplayed. That was a cool MTV video, but I love the guitar solo from Billy on that song. I love his vocals too. Velcro Fly is really great, and Dipping Low in the Lap of Luxury is really great too. From Recycler. I think Recycler, honestly, may be a little stronger than Afterburner. Recycler is actually a really good album. I do like it. Concrete and Steel is great. I love that a lot. My Head's in Mississippi, another really popular song for them. Give It Up is a really great song. I love that. And Double Back is my favorite song off that album. Not only am I a huge Back to the Future fan, but I love how they made that song for the movie. And they made a cameo in that film, too. I haven't watched any of those movies in a while. I really want to watch them again. I love Double Back, and that's probably, along with some of the stuff from Eliminator and maybe a couple songs from Afterburner, probably my favorite song of that era, along with, I had TV Dinners in my top 10, and, pretty much the entire Eliminator album is honorable mentions, but Double Back is great. I love that song. And I love their cameo in the Back to the Future Part 3 film. Okay, so their last five albums. Well, I don't know if they're last because I heard they have an album that they're yet to release. I think Dusty recorded all of this stuff before he passed away. I don't know. Maybe there'll be redubs with Elwood's bass. I'm not sure, but I have a couple of songs from the last couple albums from Antenna. Antenna's, I think, the last of their more electronic albums, but I think of their from Eliminator, Afterburner, and Recycler. I think Antenna was probably the heavier album of the previous three. I love the song Pincushion. That's probably the popular song off that album. I love that. Breakaway is really strong. I like that a lot. So yeah, that's the stuff from Antenna. Antenna's a pretty good album. I'm a big fan of Rhythmine. Rhythmine is their return to guitar album, and I think I favor the 70s more than the 80s, just a little bit. But I love both eras, and I have a soft spot for Rhythmine. And if you haven't heard Rhythmine, that's a really strong album, really strong return to guitar album. I love the title track, Rhythmine. What's Up With That is really strong, and Vincent Price Blues is great. From Triple X, or XXX or Triple X, whatever you call it, that album is probably my least favorite ZZ Top album. It's okay. There's a couple of good songs. My problem with this album and the album that comes after it, there's a lot of songs, and I think if they cut a couple songs off, it might have been a little stronger, because this is around the time of album filler when CDs became more popular and they were filling up albums, and even some artists would fill it up to double albums. But from Triple X, I like Fearless Boogie is a really good song, and 362236 is really good. From Mescalero is a solid album. I think that's stronger than Triple X, but I think that there's a lot of songs, especially on Mescalero. There's a lot of songs but some of it worked. I love the title track, Mescalero, and Alligator is really good. And there's some other songs I do like from there that I didn't mention here, but it's still a really strong album. And from their most recent album, La Futura, I'm a big fan of this album. I Got to Get Paid is really great. That's probably the popular song off that album. That's a really great song. Chartreuse is really good. Consumption is a really great song, and I love the song Flying High. So that's my honorable mentions. Let me show you my top 10 one more time. Okay, here's my list. Like I mentioned, this list was really difficult. Let me know what your top 10 favorite ZZ Top songs are in the comments below, or if you can't, just name me your favorite. This list was really difficult, and I do love this band a lot. And like I mentioned before, as I'm getting older, I have more fond appreciation of this band as I've gotten older, because I've always really liked them. But as I've gotten older, I've really grown to love them and respect them even more as a band. So this is a video for this is kind of a tribute video to Dusty Hill. I didn't make a proper tribute video. That was a couple months ago, but I was busy and doing other things around that time. But I honestly now wish I'd put out a tribute video. But this is a tribute to Dusty Hill. Dusty, rest in peace. My condolences go out to Dusty's family. They're going through, and even though it's been a month since he passed away, they're still probably going through some tough times. But yeah, there's top 10 songs for ZZ Top. I know I'm going to be busy for the next couple weeks, so hopefully I can post more videos. I know I'm going to be busy for the next couple weeks, but yeah, hopefully I can squeeze a couple more videos, hopefully before the year ends at least. I can't believe we're almost at the end of August. We're near the end of August. We only have 3 days of the month left. This month just flew by, and not only this month, this entire year flew by. It's like the first couple months of 2021 never even happened, but it did. And we only have 4 months of the year left. Time is flying by, but anyway. And I have a feeling the next 4 months, or the last 4 months, this is how fast it's going to go. It's going to go fast like that. But anyway, and let me know what other videos you'd like me to do. Not only just top 10 songs. We can, do other videos if you want. You guys can let me know. I'd also like to talk about some movies, because I haven't talked about movies in a while. And I do love movies, and my channel pretty much started with the movie Jaws, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I did a video on Friday the 13th. That's actually my most viewed video to this day. And Harry Potter, I believe I did one. I didn't do one on Star Wars, and I'd like to do that one, because that's probably my favorite franchise of all time. But anyway, we're getting taken away. So Dusty, rest in peace. Yeah, this is top 10 songs for ZZ Top. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. Hopefully we can do more of these videos, and hopefully more videos in general before the year ends. That's my plan. So anyway, please leave a like, comment if you want, view my videos, and of course subscribe, and ring the bell for daily notifications. Thanks for watching this video, guys. This has been Halbuska, signing off. Stay safe, take care.